We have an ABC News exclusive with rare access to a U.S. Navy nuclear ballistic missile submarine.
It is a breathtaking sight that few will ever see.
When you think of the Monkey submarine, you probably think of armor-piercing darts, because armor-piercing darts is an upgrade that can take out most maps with ease. However, what if I told you that Monkey submarine actually has another overpowered upgrade? Introducing the Ballistic Missile. Ballistic Missile is the third tier upgrade for the Monkey Submarine's middle path. The upgrade grants the Monkey Submarine a secondary attack in the form of a missile that does 1 damage per shot, but also does +5 to mobs and ceramics, and as well has a pretty massive 100 pierce. So as you can probably tell from these stats, this tower has one thing in mind, which is to clear out groups of balloons, and especially groups of ceramics. And it does get better, because if you cross-path this with the bottom path, then you can increase the attack speed by about 20%. Although that only comes with the Twin Guns upgrade, although Airburst is still a nice upgrade because, I mean, who doesn't like some Airburst darts? Not to mention that the bottom crosspath also gets rid of the biggest weakness of any explosion-based tower, which is the fact that the Ballistic Missile cannot pop black balloons, and also the darts from the submarine, in fact, play pretty nicely with an Alchemist buff. Buffing this with an Alchemist does make it so that it attacks twice a second, and, as well, brings its mob and ceramic damage to 8. Which, of course, if you're keeping track, this brings up to 16 damage per second on mobs and ceramics, which is not to mention that it can still be buffed by Sub-Commander, which, by the way, that Sub-Commander buff, in case you didn't know, is double damage plus 4 pierce, which would make these guys do 12 mob and ceramic damage per shot. And now that you know the numbers, you may be wondering, how do I use this Ballistic Missile? Now, theoretically, you can use him wherever water can be found, because of course advanced intel can give him theoretically infinite range. Although ideally, you want to bring him in closer to the track so that you can use the bottom crosspath because the damage is simply superior. I would also highly recommend keeping around other mob damaging towers, because while the Ballistic Missile does a lot of mob damage within itself, it does need a little bit of help, especially in the later rounds. Speaking of later rounds, we also have to discuss the 4th tier and 5th tier upgrades for this guy, because of course a tier 3 upgrade by himself isn't enough to make a tower. The 4th tier upgrade is pretty simple. It gives the Ballistic Missile an ability called First Strike that essentially launches a big missile, which upon impact does 10,000 damage to the strongest balloon on the screen. Which, to put that into perspective, the only thing that cannot one-shot between rounds 1 through 100 is a fortified ZMG or a BAD. The tier 5 upgrade shoots a third missile that does 750 damage to each mob that comes on screen, and as well reduces the cooldown for the ability from 60 seconds to 45 seconds. And notably also gives the main attack another plus 15 to ceramic and mob class damage. But to be honest, you're best off probably just going for the tier 4 upgrade because Preemptive Strike is a pretty subpar option for mobs, considering that there are much better options for a cheaper price. The 4th tier First Strike is actually amazing for the late game because not only can it one-shot the bad, provided you do enough damage beforehand, and in general can slim down big clumps of mobs. And all that combined is why I think you should be using the Ballistic Missile. This is an upgrade that I feel like is underappreciated in its tier 3 form, and I think more people should try to use it, or at the very least observe the fact that it is actually very good. If you learned something or overall enjoyed the video, give it a like. I just made a thumbs up in real life as if anybody can actually see it happening. And if you want to see some more of these guidey/tutorial kind of things, subscribe. I actually plan on making this into a bit of a series because I actually quite like shining light on towers that aren't really used all that much. And if you want this to be a series too, tell me that in the comments. Or even give me suggestions on what to cover next on Twitter or Discord, links will be in the description. But with that said, I bid you all farewell.